Welcome to John S's Sports Channel, and we're going to go through its Championship Week 43 predictions. We're almost at the end, aren't we? Some really, really important games this week as we go to Blackburn in 20th and Coventry in 1st for tonight's game. Now, we go through your predictions, a little bit of form, and give you my little fun version of what it might turn out like. We've been pretty good, actually, of late. I'm actually going to go through your predictions first this time for once. 0-2, 0-2, 1-2, 1-2. Everybody going for a Coventry win here. If you look at how they've been doing, Blackburn win, draw, lose. They really have been finding it a little bit tough and hard to get goals here. It's not that they can't, they do get the odd one. And they in fact won Millwall 2-1 away from home. And they're usually quite good at home, Millwall. So they can pull out the stops, this Blackburn team. It's a case of will they? They are at home, but they're against a Coventry side in first position for a reason. Win, lose, win, draw. But the last 3 games, they win 3-2 against Derby County, 0-0 against a good Hull side, but then 0-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. Now, we look at those 2 games that we've just mentioned. Southampton 3, Blackburn 0. So they're going into this trying to get out of that bottom quagmire. They're still not safe. They just need, I think, 1 point to be really realistically safe. Southampton 16 shots, 7 on target, 3 in the net. Yeah, pretty good for nearly 60% possession there. Blackburn away from home 41% is not actually too bad. 8 shots, 3 on target. They would have been disappointed they didn't at least score. And if they could have done it first, then perhaps they could have shocked Southampton into not scoring 3. But you've got that Sheffield Wednesday game for Coventry. Coventry 0 and Sheffield Wednesday 0. Almost 70% possession for Coventry here. They almost never let go of the ball. However, their passing wasn't actually that good. I know they made lots of passes. I know it was one of the best passing performances of the day, but other teams have done better with almost 70% possession. This team just did seem to lose it occasionally when they didn't have to, and then have to get it back, which they jolly well did straight away. But the passing was a little bit awry on occasion. Not very often, but on occasion. No shots at all out on target out of their 8 for Sheffield Wednesday, and that is just the way that Coventry set up that back line for me, because Sheffield Wednesday have been improving, as we'll come along to later. So yeah, all those people thinking Coventry are going to win this one. So I'm going to go with you. I'm gone Blackburn 0, Coventry 2 for tonight's game. And then we have to go to Saturday's games, and we start with Derby County in 8th. And Oxford in 22nd. Now, obviously, Oxford have been doing so well, haven't they? They really have. They've been winning and still staying in the bottom 3, only thanks to the fact that Portsmouth have also been winning. So, what can these 2 sides do? Derby County, of course, in 8th. They're really hoping to finish as high as they possibly can. Let's have a look at where they are at 63 points in 8th, just 5 points away from Hull in 6th. That 6th place is still open for me, but it will start to narrow down now very, very quickly. They would have to win this one against Oxford, I think, Derby County. Lose, win, lose, win, lose. A win 2-0 against Stoke City, and Stoke City have got a really good defence. We'll come to that later on. They really still have got a good defence, even though Stoke are losing. They aren't regularly letting in a lot of goals. So, in fact, this is probably one of the few times I've seen them easily lose, let 2 goals in. And then it was Southampton the last time out. Southampton 2, Derby 1. And you have to think, you have to remember, Southampton have got a good squad here. They've improved over the last few months. The second half of the season a lot better than the first. 62% possession, 15 shots, 5 of them on target, 2 in the net. For a team in the top 6, yeah, that's okay. You may think that they should have got, and I think realistically they should have got 3 out of that one. They had 3. They had 3 block shots of theirs, so it was a really good game from both sides. Because with 38% possession, Derby actually got 9 shots. 4 of them on target, 1 in the net. And that's good for a mid-table team. And of course, if they want to be in that top 6, they've got to be doing better than 1 in 4. So, what are you thinking for Derby versus Oxford then? I can see where you're all coming from. Oxford, win, draw, lose, draw, win. Yes, a draw against Hull City 1-1, a draw against Portsmouth 2-2, and they were in the lead for ages there, weren't they? And then Watford 2-0 win, and they must have thought they'd done it here. 90 plus 2 minutes confirmation there, 2-0 for Oxford. Watford can do great things up front. 12 shots for Watford away from home, with 67% possession, but they only managed to get 3 on target because this Oxford side have started to allow the opposition to play, as long as they can make sure the shots are not clear-cut chances. And Oxford themselves, with 33%, 15 shots, 6 of them on target, 2 in the net, just shows you how this Oxford team has in fact changed. 5 block shots for Watford. They had 5 shots blocked. This Oxford side have turned that defence into quite a wall. So you have to think about that when we're looking at Derby Oxford. Like I say, I was looking at your result, your predictions here: 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, 0-0. And looking at the way that Oxford can put up that brick wall, and all those 2 goals for and 2 goals against, I'm sort of looking at Oxford and thinking, I could see this be 2-2. And especially when you look at Derby's results, I could see 2-2. But you're giving me 1-0, 2-1, 2-0 and 0-0. So I'm going to go with Derby 2, Oxford 1. But they may just nick that equaliser. As I go to the third game now, and it's Millwall in 3rd versus QPR in 11th place. And QPR, for me, have... they'd be one of those sides that have just drifted around that same position, and they may have inadvertently gone higher or lower without me really realising it, but they've never really got to get to grips with a really good run, apart from in these last 6, which we'll have a look in a minute. Millwall, win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw. Wow. They do seem to have just lost it, and it's a shame because they're in 3rd position. And everybody up there's losing points. If they could have done better in there, they could be really right in the top 2 with no problem at all. Last 3 games, Borough win 2-1, but Borough, they really have fallen apart, haven't they? Norwich City 2-1 defeat after that, but Norwich City have improved. For me, certainly have. West Brom 0-0 though was probably the one that we really do have to look at, because West Brom actually 16 shots. 60% possession, only 1 shot on target in that entire game for West Brom. So it wasn't a dull 0-0. You could actually watch this game and think, how is nobody scoring here? Millwall 40% possession, decent for an away side. 11 shots, not too skinny there. 3 on target, and they would have been thinking, they should have nicked this one. Although West Brom did have a fairly good passing momentum there. They did pass quite well, and I was quite impressed about that. Clear-cut chances, 2 each, and neither took any of them. So West Brom Millwall was a bit of a disappointment in the fact that there should have been goals in that game. Absolutely. QPR then, because like I said, they've actually had a good run. Lose, win against Leicester, win. So lose, win, draw. The reason why I do that is because Leicester City away 3-1, Portsmouth at home 6-1, and that kicked Portsmouth into changing things and actually starting to play some damn good football. Thank you very much to QPR, I suppose. Watford 2-1 then, and we know Watford can either turn up or not, can't they? Draw against Preston 1-1, and a Bristol City 0-0 home draw. And on this one, I was looking at it and thinking, again, you've got pretty even as far as play was concerned. If you look at the replay. Obviously, I don't have great replays, but the replays I was watching looked pretty good, pretty even. A good number of shots each. Dozen shots each, and they were converting some of them. QPR had 2 or 3, and Bristol City had 4 or 5, 6 shots on target. So here we could see this being a good game, and actually both teams here kept the ball, passed it nicely. With just a little bit of extra pizzazz, I think. Both teams wanted to actually keep the possession, and both did with some good short and long passes. So I was quite impressed by that. Clear-cut chances here, officially just 1 for QPR. I think overall Bristol City would be the ones walking away thinking, damn, we should have got at least one of those, shouldn't we? I think they slightly edged it on the actual chances, even if they didn't quite edge it on the passing. So Millwall versus QPR then, what are you thinking? 3rd versus 11th, 3-2, 2-1, 1-0 and 1-0. I look at this and I think, look at those last two, the last game for each one, 0-0, and the games before, and I think I can't see this being a 3-2. I just can't see it being a high scoring game. I know, Portsmouth 6-1 for QPR before you start telling me, but I don't think here it's going to be like that. And I'm going to go with one of your scores. I'm going to go Millwall 1, QPR 0. As we go to the next one, shall we? Which is one of my local sides, Portsmouth in 19th and Leicester City in 23rd. Now, if Portsmouth win this one, they are almost completely safe. They can't be caught by Leicester if they actually win this one, I do believe. Which means it's only Oxford that could catch them. I think a draw would be possibly enough to keep them, Portsmouth, safe. So it's going to be an interesting one. Leicester City can still get out of this. Look at my relegation video. I think they can still get out of this. Possibly on number of goals scored. Literally, possibly on number of goals scored. So it's going to be an interesting game. It really is. Portsmouth, look at this. Lose. The 6-1 defeat there. So lose, draw, win. The 2 draws, Norwich City 1-1 and a hard fought fight back at Oxford 2-2, followed by that amazing 90 plus 7 minutes win at Borough 1-0. And then at home to Ipswich, they just ran that one, didn't they? 2-0. Who would have thought that? So this Portsmouth side are actually starting to fly, and the fans are so good at home. that they are certainly the extra man. That fan base and the noise they provide will be absolutely phenomenal. It's a home game for Portsmouth, who are Leicester City. Well, I mean, you can look at we can look at the stats for the Ipswich game, can't we? Portsmouth versus Ipswich, 40% possession to Portsmouth, 11 shots, 4 on target, 2 in the net. They just let Ipswich play it, knowing that they weren't going to create very many open chances. Ipswich, 11 shots from their 60% possession, pretty poor. 2 of them on target. Now, in the past, these have been really clinical. 2 shots on target will get them 1 or 2 goals. 0. Not kidding, they were passing it really well, and they should have done more with it. But as soon as they got into the defence area for Portsmouth, they turned them around. It was a really good defensive profile from the whole back line this time from Portsmouth. They have been guilty of that right side being really, really weak, and yeah, the opposition just goes straight for it. Well, this time, not the case. So it's Portsmouth versus Leicester. So let's have a look at Leicester's then. Win, lose, draw, lose. The disappointment here was Sheffield Wednesday away 1-1. That draw to me really did look rather like it looked a little bit desperate for me, and it looked like they were just trying to, they were doing well, but just couldn't get anything past that back line, and Wednesday were just frustrating the hell out of them. Swansea City though, Leicester City 0, Swansea 1, 53 minutes there for. And Swansea only had 1 shot on target officially. 8 shots, 1 on target, 1 in the net. Leicester City, 56% possession, 19 shots, 6 on target, none in the net. You can tell who was going to be upset here. They had probably 25% more passes than Swansea, so they were actually passing shorter, more clinical. They seem to have gone back to basics, this Leicester side, in an attempt to try and get through back lines quicker, easier, and score goals. They are scoring the odd goal, 2-2 against Preston, 1-1 against Sheffield Wednesday, but then the 0-1 against Swansea, for me, really does show that this Leicester side just seems to have lost the plot. If take away their deductions, they wouldn't be in this position, would they? And it does worry that the deductions has actually made quite a big difference on field. So Portsmouth versus Leicester, what are you thinking? 1-1, 1-1, 2-2, 4-2. Now I think that Portsmouth are going to win 2-1. And the reason is, I think that Portsmouth are at home. That crowd is phenomenal. They've got their tails up now with 2 great wins against Borough and Ipswich. They feel like they can be winning the best, but they don't always do well against the bottom teams. Ask any Portsmouth fan, they'll win the top 6 and they'll lose against the bottom 6. I think that they may win this one, but I'm going to go with the people here saying Portsmouth 1, Leicester 1. They'll be happy with that. I do think that they will be happy. That may even make them safe. Bristol City, Norwich next, and Bristol City in 10th, Norwich in 9th. A nice mid-table battle, this, isn't it? I don't think there's going to be much of a game here because... 58 points for Norwich City. They're 10 points behind Hull City. I think this realistically is an on-the-beach game. Bristol City then, lose, draw, lose, win, draw. They do seem to go a little... they had a bit of a doldrum period, didn't they? And they seem to have come out of it. Charlton away, 2-1 win. Sheffield United at home, 1-0 win. And a QPR away draw, 0-0. And that QPR draw, 0-0, well, Bristol City really should have won this one with 55% possession, 13 shots, 6 of them on target, none in the net. They certainly should. QPR only had 2 shots on target in this game. Bristol City will have been kicking themselves. Look, there was a lot of short passes in this game from both sides. Lots of short passes, lots of keeping it close, and lots of we don't want to lose it. But it just didn't seem to come off from this Bristol City side. They used these short passes to get into the perfect position for shooting. Yet they just couldn't create a clear cut enough chance to get it in the net. But they had lots of shots on target, just not clear cut chances. That's the problem. So Norwich City then, Bristol City, Norwich, win, lose, win, draw, win, lose. They Portsmouth 1-1, okay. Millwall 2-1 away from home, a win there, and then Ipswich, Norwich 0, Ipswich 2. Ipswich they are looking good, aren't they? They really are looking clinical. Ipswich, of course, 5 shots on target, 2 in the net. I would have expected 2 or 3. They are still clinical, aren't they? Norwich City have been clinical as well, though, in odd games. It's really strange. Do like and subscribe. Tell me down below, who is it that's making that difference? Because whoever it is really does make that the conversion rate really good. I just wonder if it's one particular person or a couple of people. 15 shots from 67% possession for Norwich. 3 of them on target, none in the net. Like I said, they can be clinical. Who is it and why is it? So that game was 2-0. I think that, Norwich would have been thinking we could have got a draw from that. We really probably should have got a draw from that one. Bristol City, Norwich then. What are we looking at? 2-2, 2-2, 0-2, 1-1. Well, you're not giving me much of a choice. I'm going to agree with you. Bristol City 2, Norwich City 2. And we go to Hull City in 6th, Birmingham in 15th. This is one, I've made a note on there. I do not know anything on this game. This is one of those games, it could go absolutely anywhere. Hull City are wanting to make sure that they keep in that 6th place. They're 4 points ahead of Wrexham, and Birmingham are in 15th with 56 points. They're not going to go anywhere from there. They're not going down, they're not going up. They are already on the beach. Hull City, win, lose, win, draw, lose. And they're really needing to get back into the grips of this. Sheffield Wednesday 3-1 win at home. Good win, because they have been building up that defence, that Wednesday team. Oxford 1-1, Coventry 0-0. 2 games completely the opposite of what we expected there. And then Sheffield United to a 10-man Hull 1. Will Lundstrom, 75th minute red card, make a difference? Absolutely. We do have to think about that. Sheffield United 2-1 winners there. Sheffield United 67% possession, 15 shots, 7 of them on target. But just like Sheffield United, only 2 of them in the net. Great mid-table sort of performance. Hull City, and loads of passes. They were passing really well all over the pitch, not just short ones either. Hull City were 33% possession, 18 shots. Ouch. From 33% possession, guys. That is ridiculous. 4 of them on target, and that's just not good enough. Even with a man sent off, you should be getting more than 4. It was on 75 minutes, for God's sake. There's plenty of the rest of the game. They should have been putting more than 4 of those 18 in between the sticks. And the passing was pretty poor from Hull. It really was poor. It seemed to be a bit lob and run after it, which meant that they didn't really complete many of the passes. So, unfortunately for me, it was a little bit haphazard from this Hull City side, and they've got a red card. So we do have to think about that with the Hull City side. Birmingham, win, draw, lose, win. Now, those 3 defeats, Derby County 1-0, Blackburn 1-0, Ipswich 2-1, all 1-goal defeats, yeah. Wrexham then the last time out, and it was Birmingham 2, Wrexham 0. 15 shots for Birmingham, and they only had 45% possession. 8 shots on target, 2 in the net. That's a good mid-table set of ratios, and they are on the beach. Wrexham really wanting to go some. They're right up there with the top six. They're in 7th. They're right up there with the 6 in sight. They've been there and then slipped back out of it, haven't they? 55% possession for this Wrexham side. Yeah, they had slightly more time to pass things around, and they did it with some good short passes as well. 4 shots from that, none on target. This Birmingham side just managed to pack that back end, come back and pack it, come back, pull back and pack it, and that's what worked for the Birmingham side here. And I'm just a little bit dubious that Hull City will be able to break through it, because looking at the stats from the whole game, I know they got 0-0 against Coventry, but yeah, defensively good, but I'm just a little bit worried. What are you? Hull City Birmingham 2-1, 1-2, 2-2, 1-0. I'm going to go with the majority here. Most of you are going for Hull City. I'm going to go Hull City 2, Birmingham 1, because I think Birmingham will score. So if the majority think Hull City is going to win, I'm going to go with you. Like I said, I have no clue on that one. But don't write Birmingham off. Don't write Birmingham off. That Lundstrom one may just make a difference here. May just make a difference. I don't know if they've challenged it. Do tell me if they've challenged it. Preston versus West Brom next. And Preston 13th, West Brom in 21st. Like I said, there's a possible 2-point deduction here coming. The infringement was last season, which meant that the warning had to come this season, and it means the points have to come out this season. There was somebody who said, "Oh, it may come in next season because it's next season for it to come out." No, it's next season when they have to. The following season from the infringement is when they have to be given the infringement notice, and the same year as same season as the infringement notice is when the points come out. Which means last season was the infringement. This season was the notification. This season is when the points come, but you don't know when the season finishes, guys. Does this season for West Brom finish the day before the first game of next season? A little bit of a grey area there. So we're looking at Preston versus West Brom. Preston lose, win, draw, win, and they do seem to have come back to a little bit better performance here. A Stoke City 3-1 win at home was one of the ones I thought, yeah, they're almost getting back to this. And a Leicester City 2-2, I thought that was a little bit disappointing from Preston, to be honest. QPR 1-1 home draw, and I'm thinking actually QPR did turn up for me and they did a good job. Charlton then last time out, Charlton 1, Preston 2. And this side does actually seem to be able to play away from home as good as the way it does at home for me. Preston though let's go with Charlton first. Charlton 45% possession, 17 shots, 6 of them on target, really good, but only 1 shot in the net. So 1 goal from 6. Okay, we can accept that as a mid-table sort of performance from Charlton, but where are Charlton? I've got to find Charlton now. 18th. So actually, it's probably stats wise slightly above where they are in the table. Preston then 55% possession, 14 shots, 5 of them on target, but they got 2 in the net. So here it was just about clear cut chances. the clear-cut chances here all went really towards Preston. So they're really good at getting in waiting, and you could see them just. We could shoot. We're not. We're going to pass it back and try and get into a better shot opportunity, and that's what they did, and it worked. So Preston have been improving their class and their style, and no, don't just lay one off. Pull it back and have a shot from a better position, and it's working for them. West Brom, though, what are they doing? Draw, win, draw. An unbeaten run here has occurred. However, with three draws in a row. 2-2 against Wrexham. Good draw. That really was a good draw. I thought that they were going to come away with a win and pull away, but they didn't. 2-2 against Wrexham. 0-0 against Blackburn. A team they would have really hoped to win. And then 0-0 against Millwall, a team they would have expected to lose against. This West Brom team seems to be just building it up for, if we can get points, we can get out of this. But this 2 point, if it is 2 points, look at my relegation vid. It's really going to be close. And that's assuming that West Brom pull off a couple of draws in this last, possibly a win in these last few games. West Brom 0, Millwall 0, and West Brom got 60% possession, 16 shots, but only one of them on target, guys. The rest of them, the commentator said, "Oh, it's out into the night sky," and you're thinking, again, dear. Millwall, 40% possession, 11 shots, 3 on target, none in the net. Look, I think Millwall fans would have been thinking, yeah, we tried to just take them on the break here and didn't work, did it? Because West Brom managed to pull back and make sure that there were a couple of good chances each, but neither took any of them. So if I had to choose one, I'd say Millwall would be the team coming away disappointed there. They seem to have set themselves up for draws, West Brom. Will this be another draw? Because of the last 3 games each, there's been 5 draws and 1 win, which was for Preston. What are you thinking, Preston, West Brom? Well, you're not giving much choice here, guys, are you? Come on. 1-1, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. Guess where I'm going? Yes, Preston 0, West Brom 0. I'm sorry, I've got to agree with 3 out of 4. Sheffield Wednesday 24th and Charlton in 18th. This is where it's getting interesting, because Sheffield Wednesday don't have anything to lose, and they are actually playing some of their best football. They really are. Draw, lose, draw against Leicester City. 1-1, and I really thought that they were gonna get this second minute goal for Sheffield Wednesday against Leicester, and that was probably their only shot on target. Leicester City came back, 24 shots for Leicester City, only 6 for Sheffield Wednesday, 12 on target for Leicester City, 1 in the net. They have been, earlier on in the season, bloody critical, very clinical, almost like Ipswich, but they haven't been getting the points. And here, Sheffield Wednesday's defence is showing how damn resilient it's suddenly been. And then 0-0 against Coventry. Coventry 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And once again, Coventry, 20 shots, 69% possession. Only 3 of them on target. Hey, there's something coming in here. 24 shots from both of these teams, and a handful, 2 or 3 on target, and none in the net. And you're thinking, Wednesday, 8 shots, none on target. Yeah, they're not getting up front very often, but you're talking teams who can and have the ability to shoot, but they're making them shoot from distance, and it's working. A 1-1 draw and a 0-0 draw. But they're playing Charlton, who, that realistically, Charlton are they're safe for me. There's no point. I don't think we can say they're not going to. They only need 1 win to be really certain about staying up. Win, draw, lose, draw, lose. A draw against Watford, that was a good draw, that 1-1. I thought I enjoyed that game. Preston defeat though. Preston, it was Charlton 1, Preston 2. Preston coming back to win this one. And realistically, it was a really even game. I enjoyed this game. I don't think either team deserved to win this one. 6 shots on target for Charlton, 5 on target for Preston, and Preston win it 2-1. Slightly better passing from the Preston side, which would almost play for me into this solid defence of Sheffield Wednesday. With the passing not quite being as good from the Charlton side, I think that this could be quite interesting. Could play towards Sheffield Wednesday's strengths. What are you thinking then? Sheffield Wednesday, Charlton, 1-2, 2-1, 2-1, 1-1. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to say, it? Sheffield Wednesday 2, Charlton 1. And I'm a Rotherham fan. Wednesday fans know what that means. Swansea 14th versus Southampton in 4th. And haven't Southampton done damn well recently? They really have deserved that. Look, the teams in the top 6, all the teams at the top 6 haven't been getting as many points as they were as previous years. They've been dropping points, the whole lot of them, and Southampton have made the most of this with a really good winning run. Swansea then, a win, lose, draw, win. A win against Leicester, but only 1-0. I thought this was a bit scrappy for me. Leicester City did control this. Again, 19 shots, 6 on target, none in the net. There's a story coming here, isn't there? Swansea, 44% possession, 8 shots, 1 on target, 1 in the net. Swansea can score goals. They can, and they have the ability to. It just wasn't. For me, I didn't like the game. I thought this game was a bit dull. I would have, if this was a 0-0, I'd have been thinking, yeah, Leicester had loads of shots, but there weren't that many clear-cut chances in this game. As a neutral, I thought it was sort of just above being a boring 0-0. But it wasn't. Swansea won it. In the end of the day, Southampton though, listen to this: win. Who have they won? They've won Norwich, Oxford, Arsenal. Wow. Wrexham, Derby, and Blackburn 3-0. And it was a good win against Blackburn. Really was. Southampton 3, Blackburn 0, and they managed to control this game really, really well. Southampton 16 shots, 7 on target, nearly 60% possession, 40% to Blackburn, 8 shots, 3 on target, none in the net. Yeah, Southampton 7 shots on target, 3 in the net. That's what you need at the top of the league, and that's what they're giving. So they really have turned this around very, very well, the Southampton side. Swansea Southampton, I think it's only going to one way, isn't it? 1-4, 0-2, 1-3 and 1-3. So 2 people said it. Swansea 1, Southampton 3. As we go to the next game, which is Watford in 12th and Sheffield United in 17th. Now, it's one of these games where you can see, I mean, what Sheffield United have really, for me, they've lost it, haven't they? They've done what they usually do at the end of the season. Basically, they always seem to lose the points at the end of the season, and you end up watching them drop down the table. Well, they have here as well. But Watford have sort of been around that neck of the woods in the table for quite a while. Watford lose, win, draw, lose, draw, lose. Not doing well. How many have they scored? It was 0-0, 2-1 defeat, 1-1 and a 2-0 defeat. They're not even scoring anymore. They used to. So obviously injuries or whatever, red cards. I think there's 1 or 2 of those around as well, isn't there? It's just not happening for them. Oxford 2-0 defeat. You know, Oxford 2, Watford 0. And I tell you what, Oxford deserved this. 15 shots. Oxford only had 33% possession, but they caught Watford on the break. 15 shots from 33% possession. Oxford are really good at going on the break. 6 of those were on target, 2 in the net. Oxford deserved it. From 67% possession, Watford only had 12 shots. 3 of them on target, none in the net. Oxford absolutely deserved this game. Absolutely. They didn't, when they needed to pass it, they did. And they did it well. The breaks were good and very precise. I enjoyed the Oxford performance. Sheffield United, where's it all gone wrong? Lose, draw, win. Last two were, it was last 3-3 against Swansea City at home, a Bristol City 1-0 defeat, and then a Sheffield United 2 10-man Hull 1. Now, realistically, like I said earlier, Hull City 18 shots, 4 of them on target, 1 in the net. You've really got to get more than 4 on target out of the 18, and that was only from 33% possession, guys. Sheffield United giving the ball away very rarely, but Hull using it absolutely brilliantly in this game. Even if they did lose, they're too easy to open up, I think, this Sheffield United side. 67% possession, 15 shots, 7 on target, 2 in the net. It does show a weakness to that Sheffield United side. Is that why that is the only win in the last 6 games? So Watford, Sheffield United. As we get near the end, you're probably happy about that. 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-3. You're all over the place. I'm going to sit on the fence. Watford 1, Sheffield United 1. And we'll go to Wrexham versus Stoke, the last of the Saturday games. 7th versus 16th here. Wrexham have been doing well, haven't they? They've been grinding points out. And the thing is that they're just under that 6th place. They have been 6th and then been back down. The top 6, like I said, aren't getting as many points. They're dropping points. The whole lot, including Coventry, have dropped points at some point during in the season quite regularly. And you're thinking, Wrexham, win, win, draw, lose. And usually that would see them drift into the middle of the table. But because of the way how level this league is, it hasn't. They're in 7th place and they're doing really well position-wise. Birmingham last time out after a Southampton defeat, you got the Birmingham 2, Wrexham 0. And to be honest, Wrexham 55% possession, 4 shots, none on target. They were playing well, they were passing well, but they just didn't seem to do. Birmingham didn't let them do anything with the ball. Birmingham 15 shots out of their 45% possession, 8 on target, 2 in the net. A good mid-table set of stats, and it really, the defence here from Birmingham really did make sure that they just couldn't get past the brick wall. Which is what Birmingham were complaining about last year, strangely enough. Stoke City, Wrexham are playing Stoke City, so draw, win, lose, draw. Stoke still have a good defence. The last 3 games, 2-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday, did what they had to do. 2-0 defeat against Derby and a 1-1 draw against Blackburn. Look, I still think that defence is pretty good. It's just the odd insane mistake that's getting them at the minute. But defence-wise, if they can keep it up without silly mistakes, it really is still quite a good defence. It's a case of whether they can do as good a job as Birmingham, I think. That Blackburn game, Stoke City 1, Blackburn 1. Ashley Phillips sent off on 87 minutes. That didn't make any difference to this particular game. And realistically, look, Stoke had 59% possession, 9 shots, 2 on target, 1 in the net. Great conversion there, guys. And their defence was quite good. 41% possession to Blackburn. 11 shots, not that great. Only 3 of them were allowed to be on target. They only had, Blackburn only had 1 clear-cut chance. there were a lot. Blackburn managed to tackle the ball off Stoke quite a few times. I noticed that one in the replay. Stoke didn't really tackle for the ball. Blackburn did. It was almost like a League One style performance where they've got the ball, tackle them, and they won it quite often. So the tackling performance here from the Blackburn side was really, really good. And it showed up the fact that Stokes wasn't very good. Wrexham will love it if they don't get tackled, because they obviously came from League One where there's a lot of tackling. So Wrexham Stoke, I think Wrexham may have the upper hand here. What do you think? 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. I re-looked at these stats. So I actually went with Wrexham 0, Stoke 1, and went away from all of you. I think Stoke will. I think that defence will hold out here. You're all saying it's a Wrexham win. It may very, very well be a Wrexham win, but I'm going to go against you and go 0-1 to Stoke as we go to the next day's games, which is Sunday, I believe. Ipswich versus Borough. Ipswich second, Borough in fifth. I'm actually going to go to your predictions first. Your predictions are Ipswich Borough 0-4, 2-1, 3-0 and 2-0. I'm not quite sure where you get the 4-0 to Borough from. Really, I'm a little worried about that. The sanity of the person who did that. Ipswich draw, win, lose. Win against Norwich 2-0, and that was a good performance. I thought it was Norwich are doing well, and then a defeat away at Portsmouth. But listen to the crowd. The crowd were just phenomenal, weren't they? Portsmouth 40% possession, 11 shots, 4 on target, 2 in the net. That's not a team in the bottom 4 or 5, is it? Ipswich, good passing, brilliant passing. Portsmouth let them have the ball, 60% of possession for Ipswich, but 11 shots, 2 on target, none in the net. that Portsmouth side's defence for once was really good, and they couldn't get through it. Middlesbrough though, and this is the insane thing, lose, draw, lose, draw, lose, and guess who they lost against in the last game? Yes, Portsmouth. They both lost to Portsmouth in their last game. Borough 0, Portsmouth 1, 90 plus 7 minutes winner there. Borough 20 shots, 8 of them on target. How on earth did their Portsmouth goalkeeper keep some of those out? Some of those saves were just phenomenal. And Connor Chaplin popping up at the last 90 plus 7th minute to win it. The Portsmouth fans went absolutely ape. 3 shots out of their 29% possession for Portsmouth, 1 on target, 1 in the net. Portsmouth win. Just ridiculous. Part of me thinks that this is really about luck, isn't it? Borough have had some really dreadful luck, and you look at it and you think that it's, yeah, some of those games that they've lost or drawn, really, isn't it? They should have really won them. It's just that luck didn't go their way, or it went the opposition's way. Ipswich in second, Borough in fifth. Then let's finish it with 0-4, 2-1, 3-2, 2-0. One person thinks Borough 4-0. I think I'm going to write that one off. I'm going to go with the others, which say it's going to be an Ipswich win. Ipswich 2, Borough 0. Please do like and subscribe to John Essex Sports Channel. I'll see you in the next prediction video. Remember, like and subscribe.